He was born into a world that gave him nothing. A working-class neighborhood where dreams were stinging. Parents who were teenagers when he arrived. A father who painted buildings for a living. A mother who was just 16 years old. And yet, by the age of 19, he had done what only a handful of players in history have ever achieved. He had won the World Cup. He had won the European Championship. He had broken records that stood for generations. But here's the secret that nobody tells you. The thing that truly sets Lamine Yamal apart isn't his speed, his dribbling, or his vision. It's something far more powerful. Something that was forged in the streets of Rocafonda, in the pain of his parents' separation, and in the relentless pursuit of a dream that seemed impossible. This is the story of how a boy from one of Barcelona's toughest neighborhoods became the youngest World Cup winner in history. And the secret behind his rise will leave you speechless. Before he was a World Cup winner, before he was Barcelona's youngest ever player, before he broke records that seemed unbreakable, Lamine Yamal was just a boy carrying the weight of two names that weren't even his own. His father, Monir Nasraoui, had immigrated to Spain from Morocco. His mother, Sheila Ibana, had come from Equatorial Guinea. They were struggling to make ends meet. They couldn't even pay the rent. And then, in their darkest moment, two neighbors stepped in to help. Their names were Lamine and Yamal. When their son was born, they named him after those two neighbors as a gesture of gratitude. A reminder that even in the hardest times, kindness could change everything. Little did they know that one day, that name would be spoken by millions around the world. Yamal grew up in Rocafonda, a working-class district of Mataró near Barcelona. His father worked as a building painter. When Lamine Yamal was just 6 years old, he was playing football in the streets of Rocafonda. Not on pristine pitches, not in fancy academies, on concrete, with whatever ball he could find. And that's where Barcelona's scouts found him. They brought him to La Masia, Barcelona's legendary youth academy, the same place that had produced Lionel Messi, Xavi, and Andres Iniesta. But here's the thing. Yamal didn't just join La Masia. He changed the rules. His former youth team coach, Albert Puig, revealed the remarkable story of how Yamal ended up at Barcelona. During a trial, he played just 30 minutes against older boys, and his talent immediately stood out. The coaches knew they had found something special. But what set Yamal apart wasn't just his talent. It was his mentality. Puig put Yamal's rapid rise partly down to his mindset. He had what other kids didn't, an unwavering belief in himself and a willingness to work harder than everyone else. Even as a child, he was different. When Lamine Yamal was 12 years old, he made a decision that would change his life forever. He moved into La Masia, Barcelona's famous academy, living away from his family. His life became a relentless routine of school, training, and constant travel. His grandmother later revealed the extent of his dedication. During training sessions, a taxi would pick him up at 5 in the evening, and he wouldn't return home until 10 at night. He was just a child, but he was already sacrificing everything for his dream. And then came the moment that could have broken him. Yamal wanted to pursue football full-time, but his mother wanted him to get a degree. She yelled at him every day. She didn't want him to throw away his education for a dream that might never come true. But Yamal refused to give up. He convinced his parents to back his dream. He made a promise. He would make it, and he would make them proud. "All I have to do is play football," he would later say. "My mother had me when she was 16. Now that's real pressure." Then my father had to go out and make a living, scavenging on the streets to bring food home. That's real pressure. On April 29, 2023, at just 15 years, 9 months, and 16 days old, Lamine Yamal made his Barcelona first-team debut. He became the youngest player in the club's history to appear in an official match. The world had never seen anything like it. He broke record after record. The youngest player to score for Barcelona. The youngest to score for Spain. The youngest to reach 100 La Liga appearances, hitting the milestone at just 18 years and 272 days. He played more than 150 matches for Barcelona before he even turned 20. And then came the moment that defined his generation. In 2024, he won the European Championship with Spain. 2 years later, at just 19, he started the World Cup final and helped Spain defeat Argentina 1-0 in extra time. He became the youngest player ever to win both the European Championship and the World Cup. He became the youngest player ever to start a World Cup final. He became a legend before he could legally drink. But here's the secret that nobody tells you. The thing that truly makes Lamine Yamal special isn't his talent. It's his mind. While other young stars crumble under pressure, Yamal thrives. Pressure does not exist, he says. It is just something mental. You just have to focus on enjoying yourself. He has a way of blocking out the noise that most players never master. He rejects comparisons to legends. Greatness comes from being yourself, he says. He refuses to be the next Messi. He wants to be the first Lamine Yamal. His coaches have drilled one lesson into him from the start. It will only hurt you if you start believing you are the best at everything. You have to enjoy yourself and not think about the rest. And then there's his philosophy on suffering. Suffering is what makes you strong and what teaches you to correct the mistakes you make. He doesn't avoid pain. He embraces it. He learns from it. He grows from it. That's the secret. Not talent, not speed, not skill, but an unshakable belief in himself and a willingness to embrace the struggle. In the aftermath of the World Cup final, an image captured the world's attention. Lamine Yamal, the 19-year-old champion, embraced Lionel Messi, who was in tears. It was a moment that felt symbolic. A passing of the torch. The boy who had grown up watching Messi, who had dreamed of being like him, was now standing on the same stage. Not as a fan, but as a champion, as an equal, as the future. Yamal had completed football. He had won everything before he turned 20. But for him, the journey was just beginning. What makes Lamine Yamal different from the countless other prodigies who have faded into obscurity? It's his hunger, his refusal to be satisfied. I believe I can do better. I'm not satisfied with what I'm doing, he says. He doesn't care about goals. He cares about impact. My goal isn't to score a goal, because any player can score a goal. I wanted more. I wanted to raise my level of play, to be more decisive. It's his perspective on pressure. When you win, everything hurts less, he says. He has been through so much, both in football and in his personal life, that he has learned to handle anything. The path we're on, which is to win, win and win. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people say. And it's his humility. His coaches have told him repeatedly. It will only hurt you if you start believing you are the best at everything. He listens. He stays grounded. He remembers where he came from. At 19, Lamine Yamal has already achieved more than most players achieve in a lifetime. He has won the World Cup. He has won the European Championship. He has broken records that seemed unbreakable. He has become a symbol of hope for millions. But his legacy is about more than trophies. It's about the journey. The boy from Rocafonda who refused to give up. The son of immigrants who proved that where you come from doesn't determine where you're going. The teenager who carried the weight of two names and turned them into a legend. He has inspired a generation, not just in Spain, but across Africa, across Europe, across the world. He has shown that with hard work, with belief, and with an unshakable mindset, anything is possible. Lamine Yamal's secret isn't a secret at all. It's something that has been visible from the very beginning. It's the look in his eyes when he steps onto the pitch, the refusal to accept defeat, the belief that he can always do more. Pause. He was born into struggle. He was raised in a working-class neighborhood where dreams were thinking. His parents were teenagers. His family couldn't always pay the rent. And yet, he never gave up. He never stopped believing. The dream is to win, win, and win, he says. And he has done exactly that. But the dream isn't over. It's just beginning. Because for Lamine Yamal, the secret to his rise isn't talent. It's not speed. It's not skill. It's something far more powerful. It's the belief that he can always be better. The refusal to ever be satisfied. The understanding that suffering makes you strong. And the knowledge that where you come from is just the beginning of where you're going. Lamine Yamal didn't just become a World Cup winner. He became a symbol. A reminder that greatness isn't given. It's earned. Through struggle. Through sacrifice. Through an unbreakable belief in yourself. And that is the real secret behind his rise.